After covering some truly bizarre out-of-bounds discoveries, I was sure there couldn't be anything else still out there that could possibly be crazier than this. Or this. Or whatever this is. Yet, now we're here. This is why today we're diving into 10 more of the craziest out-of-bounds discoveries in video games. Part 4. Brought to you by Raycon. Go to buyraycon.com/oddheader to save 15% on your order. Link in description down below. Far Cry 5. Thanks to Youssef Farid for the submission through oddheader.com. Since Far Cry 5's release, players have been especially baffled by a mysterious veteran center at the game's most northern edge. When players approached it, they could hear a song playing from the 50s before getting knocked out and spawning at a faraway location, as strange visuals would slowly appear on the screen. Players that even flew over the center found themselves suffering the same fate. And there goes the copter. Eventually, players found a way inside, oddly enough by attempting to drown themselves in the shallow water in front of the center, as at random times instead of drowning the player, it would instead cause the player to stand up straight and allow them to safely walk inside. Inside, they found a fully rendered environment as well as some quick moolah, which unfortunately didn't last for long as a patch was quickly released that seemed to disable the drowning exploit. But what Gwasbean on my Discord server discovered in their investigation of the Veteran Center is by far the strangest discovery yet, as they were trying to drown themselves in an attempt to get into the center, when suddenly... what the f just happened? Hold on. Let's go back. What? The hell is all that? Why is he in a trash can? The only thing I can guess is they're spawn objects for something going on with the Veteran Center. But then why did it spawn the player here? And then what exactly is the place in the background? This might be one of the first times I'm truly at a complete loss. Yeah, I got nothing. Borderlands 3. Thanks to Manic Wretch who submitted this to me through my website oddheader.com. During Borderlands 3's main story, the player comes to a point where they unlock the map Skywell 27, which when they jump into after a brief loading screen, presents the player with this fairly standard cutscene. Manic Wretch, however, found when they loaded into the map, for some reason the cutscene failed to play and instead provided them an unloaded look at the environment, as an enormous creature appeared to be forming far in the background.
We must hunt as a pack or we...
Manic Wretch contacted some Borderlands 3 modders, and none of them were able to find any reference to the floating head creature anywhere in the game. All I know is that's gotta be the biggest odd head that I've ever seen. And while we're at it, Ignacio Valero also submitted to me another strange loading discovery while playing a mission on the Meridian Metroplex, as suddenly the game glitched and played this cryptic audio before going into the next map. What did they say? Satan? Maybe I'll give it another listen with these Raycon Everyday E25s, which have amazing quality for about half the price of any other premium earbud. Gesundheit? Love the earbuds, but I still have no clue what the hell's going on here. Trover saves the universe. Thanks to Vextium for submitting this mystery through my Discord server. Trover Saves the Universe is a game from Rick and Morty's creator Justin Roiland, heavily featuring Roiland's trademark rambling style, featuring endless hours of improvised dialogue that goes on and on for each and every one of the characters.
You're up against some giant wall. Go ahead, try to jump on it. You can't. There's collision detection on every part of this wall. It's an airplane. Hold on, there's an airplane. You hear that? I hear it. Must be coming from Burbank Airport.
Oh my god. Anyway, a mystery that's confused many fans of the game was this door that you come across in the DLC add-on Important Cosmic Job.
What is this, like one of those buildings in a video game that's got a bunch of doors you'll never be able to open?
Players noticed with the use of VR, if they glitched their heads out of bounds through the wall in the adjacent office, they could see a character sitting inside a fully rendered room behind the door. Well, eventually hacker IDK31 decided to create a freecam hack to get through the door, and immediately was greeted by this.
Classic Easter egg. How'd you get here? Did you use a no-clip program?
That's actually exactly what we did. So I'm confused, is there actually an Easter egg to get inside this room still, or is this just a giant waste of everyone's time?
How'd you get here?
Dying Light. Thanks to the several people who submitted this out-of-bounds discovery to me through the last few videos. In a random location in the game, players were able to find an Excalibur sword Easter egg stuck in this random rock in the water. Or if they held this prompt for around 2 minutes straight, they would unlock King Arthur's legendary sword. Unexplainably, strangely similar to the Far Cry 5 method, players found that they found themselves right next to the area of the sword's discovery. They would suddenly find themselves falling underneath the game's environment. If players immediately looked up while falling underneath the map, they could see random objects suspended high in the air, which they could grapple to before they fell to their death. Once atop the objects, the player could find 4 unused models standing on floating vehicles, which are actually solid statues that can be climbed on and react as stone when hit. Okay, well, I didn't need to see that. The statues appeared to be 2 of the game's main characters, a random enemy, and perhaps most disturbing, a random dude holding a bucket. Interestingly, a lockbox was hidden at this location that could never seem to be opened, that apparently ended up being removed according to Derpy on my Discord. But why would they remove that and not everything else? Again, I can only guess that they might be spawn objects for a still unfound Easter egg. Normally I wouldn't recommend this, but I'm starting to think drowning yourself might actually be a really effective way to find some Easter eggs. Assassin's Creed. Thanks to Sonic Vulture and Nathan Wood for submitting me this mystery through oddheader.com. Although Assassin's Creed Valhalla was only just announced and many are hyped for the new game, a mystery still lies in the very first title in the series on the second to last mission of the game, as players found if they were to attack these guards on the edge of this cliff on the Xbox 360 version, they would usually clip through the map and fall out of bounds underneath the environment. And occasionally when they respawn, there would suddenly be a replica of the game's main character Desmond walking around on the screen mimicking every move the player made. Wow. That's the first time I've ever seen that. It's not known why going out of bounds here activates such an extremely confusing result, but it has been speculated it's a remnant of a cut co-op mode that was possibly deleted from the game. I also noticed the horse disappears when this happens when it normally sticks around, so oh shit, I just assassinated myself. No wait, I assassinated the other guy. Wait a second, how am I the dead one? Okay, now I have a headache. LittleBigPlanet 3. Thanks to Namir for submitting this especially weird discovery on my Discord server. With the use of an obscure glitch, players found a way to trick the game into using the creative tools from the creative mode anywhere they wanted in the game. Namir used the creative tools where you normally couldn't on the second pop-it puzzle challenge in the game, and built himself a path to climb so he could reach far beyond the bounds of the level. In fact, this whole backdrop is something you're not supposed to fully see. As Namir climbed, he began to see a number of assets that normally spawn into parts of the level. But as he climbed onwards, he found something weird that couldn't be found anywhere else in the game, as he reached an unusual cloud-like structure high above the environment, which inside housed an apparently dead version of the game's character Larry Da Vinci, with even a halo on his head that never appears anywhere else in the game. That's certainly odd. Strangely, once you get into the room, the camera stays focused on the dead version of Larry and never lets the player leave. Some have suspected that the player maybe could actually kill Larry in the level that would somehow make the model spawn in, but no one's managed to end his life. Yet. Well, it kinda seems a little bit dark for this game though, and it also wouldn't explain why this character has his own cloud structure in the sky. And given the extremely obscure method of breaking the game that finding this requires, I'm not really sure how anyone was supposed to find this. Also, is that supposed to be blood? No, it can't be. Right? Apex Construct. Thanks to NovaLinx for submitting this discovery to me through oddheader.com. NovaLinx was playing in the shifted world area of the VR game Apex Construct when he realized he could teleport onto the scenery in the backdrop and climb out of bounds of the area, which is kind of a nightmare to navigate in VR. Eventually, he made his way on top of these normally inaccessible rafters, and when he looked down out in the abyss, suddenly an unused bicycle and a door appeared in the unknown, which he even found he was able to physically open and shut by shooting his arrows at it, which perhaps suggested that it was maybe some sort of physics test. then completely out of nowhere when he angled his camera just right at the door minutes later. A giant smoking symbol, which doesn't appear anywhere else in the game, suddenly revealed itself floating out in the distance. From here, me and NovaLinx could only guess that this is either a testing area or perhaps something still left to be found. The only thing we know for sure at this point is that it definitely has a smoking section. Valorant. Valorant is a game that isn't even released, yet players are still finding things out of bounds in the game's private closed beta being sent out to Twitch viewers. One of the reported out of bounds discoveries I've received is of an aircraft that suddenly appears if you glitch outside the invisible barriers of the training map. The plane only manages to appear if you angle the camera at certain angles, and can even be managed to be stood on. But making things even more curious, a blueprint of the area can be found on this spot of the map, with an eyeball over a room that resides in the exact spot of the out-of-bounds plane, although a room in that spot has yet to be found. Well, I'd say we better get to cracking and start figuring this one out, but then again, the game's not out yet, so there's not really anything we can do but be jealous of those already with the game. Mad Max. Avalanche Studios, the creators of the popular Just Cause series, touted their 2015 side project Mad Max as a game that would truly have no bounds, allowing players to explore the big nothing surrounding the game world without ever hitting its edge, which frankly was a load of bull. However, a number of interesting discoveries ended up being found out of bounds after the game's release, such as this discovery shared on my Discord server by HajimeTheFool, who found this strange structure sitting out in the big nothing with only a lit torch and an unusual X marks the spot in the shallow water. Using the game's image capture mode, HajimeTheFool was able to move the camera underneath the foot of water he was standing in, and strangely ended up finding a motorized shark fin floating in a canyon that nobody has ever accessed to this day. What? Definitely not coincidentally, a random motorized shark fin also shows up in Just Cause 2 in a random body of water on the game's map. Not that that makes any more sense of things. Now, according to Hajime, who's also a frequent contributor to the channel and even was a game tester for Activision, says when he first shared the discovery in a now deleted YouTube upload, he received a suspect comment from someone who said to bring Rico's corpse to the marker in the water. Rico being the main protagonist of the Just Cause series, whose corpse does actually appear in Mad Max as another Easter egg out of bounds here. The only problem is no way to get the body down from there has ever been found. Regardless, looking at the pieces in front of us, we have a shark fin that can't be reached sitting underneath the map and a nearby X mark in the water that we can stand on. I mean, there's gotta be more to that, right? But it's speculating that there might be a purpose to a random motorized shark fin that we can't access would make me the crazy one. Soma. Thanks to Namir for submitting this discovery through oddheader.com. Although Soma is an already exceptionally creepy game, supposedly the developers originally intended the game to be even darker, as a large amount of the game ended up being scaled back in development. For example, we never even got to see the protagonist's girlfriend's face throughout the actual game. Fortunately, we can activate a debug menu by altering debug mode equals false to true in the game's user setting file, allowing us to access the game's built-in free cam to get a better look in. Ew! No! Oh my god, no! That's so gross! Please go away. Ugh. Okay, that's enough out-of-bounds discoveries for today.
It's over now. Relax.
No, that was f***ed up. Thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring this video and for the everyday E25s. I'd even go as far to say they're the best wireless earbuds I've ever owned. For half the price of anything comparable on the market, the value truly couldn't be better. Go to buyraycon.com/oddheader to save 15% on your order. Link in description down below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. And if you know of any other out-of-bounds discoveries, let me know in the comments down below. Come join the Discord or even send me a shout on Twitter or Reddit. Thank you again everybody for helping me recently break 500,000 subscribers. The support is truly amazing. The only way I hope to repay you is just to continue to bring content like this for years. Truly, thank you. Shout out to Arizona T, BitWith27, Dan Duval, Dead Plastic, Decider12, Deard McCrowley, Flex, Jonathan A.L. Ornelas, Rage Spot, Riley S, Select, Tony Humor, Towerizer, Trash Mammal, up with System D, Wade Murdoch. What side are you on? And Jan Veneer for their Patreon support. Stay tuned.